Hello, hello. Welcome back to the local scene with DJ Brie. I'm so happy I get to say welcome back and that we got more great local music to discuss. I'm so excited to talk about this one because, I mean, these guys just kind of bring a whole new level to what local music can be. These guys are called Variant Season, and we'll be talking about them because I was thoroughly impressed when I first heard their music. I first discovered them just kind of scrolling through Instagram. I follow a lot of accounts, of course, that talk about local music and people to check out and people who are going to be playing locally at local bars, clubs, venues. So I thought, hey, why not check these guys out? Because I see them a lot on bills, and I'm like, you know what? We're gonna see what these guys have to offer. So I checked them out and was not disappointed. So Variant Season is an alternative metal band. So if you guys are into that music and you're listening, don't worry, we have so many other genres that we're gonna have on the podcast, but these guys just kind of hit home for me because, as you'll see, we discussed a lot of their inspirations, but I could tell just from listening to them, their inspirations derive a lot from bands like Disturbed and Seether and Linkin Park. So I was like, you know what? Yeah, I need to check these guys out for sure. So Variant Season is a band that is made up of vocalist and lyricist JT Thomas, producer and guitarist and sound engineer, and the man behind the sound, Will Perna. And I believe that two other guys, Daniel McDonald and Joe Quincy Terry, also plays with them. The two people I got to speak with were JT Thomas and Will Perna, who were lovely in discussing their inspirations and the process behind writing and producing and the feeling of playing live. So I thought that this would be the perfect opportunity to sit down, talk with them, and then also talk about their history and why you guys should check them out. So they started releasing music, or they started together as a band in 2020, of course, in the midst of COVID-19. And I think that's where a lot of people, as you'll hear in the interview, kind of think the name came from Variant Season, but it's kind of more based off of the switch in projects and the variance in their lives at the time and the circumstances that they were under. So then they started releasing music in 2022. And their first release was, I believe, Dragged Under. And all of these songs that I'm going to mention, except for their last one, is from their first EP called Volume 1. And they all deliver such a cohesive sound together, but they're very unique in their writing and the instrumentals. So I figured, why not give these guys, a chance and listen to them, see what they have to offer. So their song Dragged Under, I think, delivered two messages. Number one, musically, so the writing in it and the song itself. And that says, if you're going through a rough time, if you're going through, mental struggles in life or with people, that there is hope and that there's help out there to get better and rise above that. So listening to that, I felt that this was a band that was here. They weren't here to play. They were here to deliver awesome music, of course, lyrically and musically, but then, of course, secondly, that they were here to stay. And, that doesn't just come through in the musicality and the lyricism, but in the production value, because you can tell that these guys have had experience and that it shows that local music doesn't just have to be this little tiny side project, even if it is a fun side project, but it could be one of quality. And you can tell that these guys are passionate about what they do, and they don't play about, getting something right and, doing the takes over and over again until it sounds like a legitimate song. These guys, you could tell, are really concerned about the quality of their work, which came through from the very beginning. And so their inspirations also came through, I think, in that song a lot, especially with Linkin Park, which we'll talk about the connection that they have with Linkin Park a little later. But then there's their other single called Falling Out of Place, also kind of came from a place lyrically of struggle, and he was kind of going through a lot at the time, but it was very passionate and kind of a deep cut. And the same thing with their song called Capricorn, also off of their EP Volume 1. Very, angry. You can tell that this was something that was written out of passion. And whether it's, something from a place of emotional passion, passion for the music, passion for your future of just being together as a band, you can tell, when a band really puts in the extra work and the extra effort to make a song sound of quality. And that's definitely what they brought here. So, I guess to introduce the band to you guys, if you guys need any other reasons to listen to them, this is their song Falling Out of Place.
Got to get away. Can't breathe. Somebody save me. There's no reason to stay. I just wanna break free. This isn't the real me.
such a fantastic deep cut song that you'll see that we do talk about, and you can tell it means a lot to the band personally. All of these songs that I've mentioned, along with the songs called Your Denial and Humanity, were all released under Volume 1, and it was really exciting to talk about what they're going to do in the future with their sound and with their music, and kind of even just their whole history behind their music experience and their experience in the industry, which was interesting to talk about because the guitarist and producer Will Perna has so much experience already with touring and production. You know, their songs from day one just sounded so great, and then the vocalist surprisingly didn't have as much formal training, so I was very impressed with that. But the things they do have in common was that they have played for cover bands. For a Linkin Park cover band was one, which was kind of their connection to Linkin Park and their inspirations. I'm sure that, you know, having and playing for, you know, a band that is tributed to so much that you love personally can also come through in your own music and when you're playing live. So that was really interesting to talk about the comparison between playing live as yourself and playing live as a tribute group. And so I really look forward to catching them live as Variant Season. And I also look forward to this interview that I'm about to show you right now, talking with Will Perna and JT Thomas of Variant Season. Here it is. Thank you so much for coming on. The one thing that I always wonder when I discover a band, local or not, is how their band name came to be. Because really, every band name, if you think about it, is almost it has maybe some kind of maybe stemmed from an inside joke or some kind of inside thing, but a lot of listeners may not know. So, how did the name Variant Season come to be? Would have to be my first question for tonight.
So our band started in 2020,
Hmm.
and what ended up happening was our drummer just started playing drums at that point. He had been a guitar player for 20 years and had really just fallen in love with drums, and he's like, "Hey, like I want to play drums in a band. Would you play in a band with me?"
Yeah.
I've known Mark for a decade, so I was like, "Yeah, absolutely." And we started the project as just a cover band.
Mm.
And we were trying to find like other members and stuff like that to kind of like get it to, everything together. And it just kind of like always kept coming back to just me and Mark. And we all had other projects at that point. At that point, JT was singing for Doubting Thomas. Mark was playing guitar for Grace's Downfall, and I had my own band called Behind the Gray. And we're like, this would be like an awesome side project to like do. And I said, I'll do whatever you want. I'll play whatever. There's this. Uh, I'll
Yeah.
play whatever you want, cover whatever you want, if you just let me write, because that's just the itch I need to scratch. And Mark said, cool. And it kind of started this whole cycle of like reaching out to people who are already kind of like in other projects to be part of this side project.
Yeah.
And it kind of, sorry, my dog is like not having it right now. Um, there's this like season of change thing that was happening. So like our guitar player Dan was also in Behind the Gray with me, and we were just kind of looking for something else to be creative in. JT was doing a lot of covers with Doubting Thomas, and Mark was actually in that band, and that's how JT and I and everyone met. So this whole like season of change was kind of like the whole umbrella idea. And I'm like, that's such a cool idea of what we are as a band because we're all looking for some different things musically and personally. And that season of change just kind of became like variant season.
Yeah. And it was perfect. I mean, the name was born and just as a consequence of the situation you guys were all in at the time. That's really cool.
Ironically, because like we had really started writing in 2020, everyone thinks the reference to the band name is because of COVID
Mm.
and because it's all the variants. And we're like, no, no,
Right.
no, didn't happen that way.
Yeah, well, that's really cool. And seeing like when you guys were about releasing music, that came to mind to me too. It's like I wonder if that is kind of where that came from. But that's really cool to know. And kind of stemming off of that, you guys said you guys were all in different bands at the time. Have you guys taken any musical inspiration from your previous bands and kind of brought that into Variant Season?
Sort of. Um, like when we were writing volume one, it was kind of this really interesting time because we were in lockdown, we were in COVID, So the only thing we were doing was getting together like two, three times a week and like jamming, writing, rehearsing, and just kind of building this project because the world had shut down. So we didn't even know like if we were ever going to be able to play live.
Yeah.
So we were just writing for ourselves. And I had some music and ideas from like my previous band I really wanted to kind of use. And then when we got JT, it shifted the whole dynamic of the band because his voice was so much different than what we had kind of like thought, and like he was
I
such a
ruined
unique.
it. I ruined the whole thing.
Or made it better. He made it significantly better because like um I heard him do a cover of Shinedown's Sound of Madness, and I was like, this kid has pipes. Like this kid can sing. And I was
Well,
like, would you be interested in like doing metal? And he's like, yeah, like Corey Taylor is like a big influence for him and things like that. So I'm like, all right, cool. So like those previous ideas just kind of like amalgamated into like these new, feelings and things like that. So once JT started singing over old musical ideas, we're like, well, we have to change a lot of what we're doing to fit
Mm.
what JT's doing because we
Yeah.
have to kind of, stick to our strengths and we have a really good singer. So we need to like stick to what's going to suit him the best.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, playing to everyone's strengths. And obviously it worked out. I mean, from vocals and production wise, like I could have fooled me. I was thinking you guys were doing metal since the beginning. So that's really great. Um,
Cool.
to hear how everything worked out. And you mentioned you guys were kind of discovered what doing covers and stuff too. And if you want me to cut this out, I totally can. But I, from my research, also saw that you guys, there's some overlap in some tribute bands as well and some covers too. So I wanted to
Mhm.
ask if what the major difference is really when you're up on stage doing like a tribute character per se, as opposed to doing like your own things, right from songs that you've wrote yourself, kind of coming more from the heart. What's the biggest difference there?
Hmm. I mean, that's pretty. The tribute thing is very new.
Hmm.
yeah,
And it happened on accident. So, like we're all really big Linkin Park fans,
Yeah.
just through and through. So like we use that as like our verbiage when we're like writing. So
Okay.
I'm like I could use like, hey, like think of like when Chester would sing something like this, like go for that emotion, that idea. And JT's like, okay, like I get what you're trying to go for, and he'll like pull that out of him. So when we first started, I do all the recording, engineering, everything.
yep.
So to do that process and to like do it at home, I started recording covers as like a way to teach myself.
Oh yeah.
So I recorded a cover of Faint by Linkin Park, and we were like, hey, this came out really well. Let's play it live. And then it ended up like we just happened to learn more Linkin Park covers and Issues, the tribute band that we're playing with on Saturday, said like, hey, like we'd love to have you guys open. Can you do like half variant season set, half like your Linkin Park covers for a Halloween show? So
Very
we
cool.
went as Linkin Park for the Halloween show, and it just kind of went over really, really well.
Hmm.
And we're like, I think JT was, or Mark was the one who was like, hey, we should just do this as like a tribute thing. Like we know enough material to do it.
For
So
sure.
we did the first, what was it, JT? A Dingbats was like the first like Project
That's the
Zero.
first time we were, Project Zero. That's the first time we used it
Mhm.
for our show.
And we did that set, and like I'll let JT speak for now, but like it felt different.
Hmm.
Like it definitely feels different than playing a variant season set in a good way.
Yeah.
And like it's really hard to like describe because like I play the character of Mike, and like I'm not a rapper.
Hmm.
Like I have to do that. I'm a guitar player, but like it feels, and we're such big fans. Like we know all the routine, we know all the drum solo parts and the guitar solo parts. So like we know this stuff inside and out. But like it just feels way different to like embody somebody else than it is to like share part of yourself with somebody.
For sure. Yeah, going up there as like for like a JT and Will probably feels way different than going up because I saw Issues play at the Ritz Theater,
Oh,
and
okay.
everyone in the crowd was kind of acting like this is the guys, like these are them for real.
Yep.
And
Mhm.
while that energy was really infectious, it was also cool to see that you guys have your own independent thing going on where you guys are really singing from the heart and from experience. And you also mentioned about doing a lot of your own production and engineering. So I was wondering because from track one, I mean, I was really impressed with the production, compared to like other smaller projects. I was like, wow, this is something that they're clearly passionate about. So is this something that you always wanted to do independently? Was music something that you've worked on for most of your life, or was this like a relatively new pursuit?
This is the Variant Season is the first thing I've ever recorded myself.
Wow.
Um,
Mhm.
but like I've been in bands for like over 25 years.
Okay.
And like I've been benefited enough like in my career that like I've recorded at like multi-billion dollar recording studios. I've recorded like all over the country, and like
Hmm.
I've had the benefit of like working with producers and engineers. There were, people who won Grammys and things like that. So like it all just kind of like absorbed in.
Yeah.
So like I know how to record drums, I know how to edit drums, I know how to beat detective things, I know how to like edit guitars, I know how to get a good guitar take. And like I was so dissatisfied with my last band's last recording going to somebody else that I said I would never do that again because I want it to be in my hands,
Hmm.
and there's no time limit, there's no crunch, there's none of that. So like if, JT's like, "Hey man, I'm not feeling too good, like my throat's a little crappy or like whatever," like cool, like we can put off until you feel better, working on something. And there's been plenty of stuff that we've written that we're like, I don't know if this is as good as it needs to be, and we just sit on it and we have the time to record it and get the good takes and make it work.
For sure. Yeah, I can definitely see where that's working on something yourself uh definitely gives you more freedom and definitely, can probably feels a lot more independent. And
Mhm.
so if, I always say if you want something done right, I mean doing it yourself is definitely the best way to go with that. Um
100%.
just taking on all responsibility for that. And getting into, because you mentioned about volume one, I guess more of a question for JT would be, because you're the primary songwriter for a lot of the songs on that, and I was
Ian
wondering,
William, yep.
yeah, I was wondering
We have a
because,
lot in common with some things.
yeah, seeing, your Instagram, and I've been seeing what each song kind of is about and the place where each song comes from experience. And I was wondering if there was a song that was particularly difficult to write, coming from either a subject standpoint or a production standpoint. What track would you think was the most difficult lyric wise to write?
Maybe Capricorn, because it was definitely more of a Williams kind of song. I'm calling him William because I like it. Um, I mean, it wasn't difficult to write the song, but at a dark time, I would say Falling Out of Place
Mm,
was a song that really came out very fast, but also like it's definitely one of those songs that no matter whenever I sing it, it's like that memory comes back
mm,
of just when I was really down in the dumps and just going through some stuff. I mean, it was more like a therapy thing when I finally wrote it. I mean, difficult writing. I, none of them are really too hard. I mean, there's one that we're working on now that we're trying to find. It's a little bit more uplifting,
okay,
and I'm not really used to writing the uplifting music, but I mean, I'm doing wonderful right now. I'm doing great.
great, good to
But
hear.
like
Good to
it's
hear.
just it's just I just never done it before. I'm very new to the music scene and the writing stuff. I'm as he was saying about touring for like 25 years, I was probably in elementary.
Mm.
Um, I'm only 26, so I'm very, very new to all this, but also like feel like I've been doing it long enough. But the writing is definitely new. This was the first original band I'd been in that actually took it very seriously. And yeah, I mean, they all have a unique kind of like taste to each song, but you know it's a varied season song when you hear it. They're all very unique, but yeah, I'm gonna say Capricorn just because it was more Will's, driven song.
For sure. Yeah, both Capricorn and you said falling out of place. I can really hear it. Like when I was listening to it even on the way up here, I was like, "Oh, this is definitely a deep cut
Mhm.
from a writing standpoint." And you said you were kind of relatively new compared in comparison. So, I was wondering like with your vocals and sounding like I mean, you guys sound great on the tracks, obviously. Have you been doing vocal training or did you kind of always have a knack for it?
See, that's something I don't know. I just grew up with the radio and just like singing along with the stuff, and I never took lessons. But I mean, there's stuff on YouTube I would find like warm-ups or whatever to do before, but I don't know how to explain it. I just did it. I
Yeah.
heard and just sang along, and there it was.
He actually like his talent level, like we haven't really hit the ceiling for it yet because like I kind of push him and see like, hey, like try this, do this, and he's just like, okay, and he just kind of does it, and I'm like,
Wow.
it's really like I don't. He gives himself a lot of crap, and you'll see him. He'll give himself a lot of crap a lot, but like he's so talented. And like, one of the things we were talking about, like falling out of place, that was one of the songs that we changed musically to suit what he was doing vocally.
Mm.
And that last chorus where he like really brings it up and just lets it out, I gave him like one note direction. I'm like, hey man, like this is last chorus, like let it go, just like reach for it, like find where like you were at that moment and do it. And that was a one take vocal. He
Whoa.
just he just did that and he just let it. I'm like, yeah, that's it. You're let's just roll with that.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I mean, because the just from a listener standpoint and from friends that I've heard also like who listen to Variant Season, I'm like this like we all agree that the vocals on the tracks are just great. So from a listener standpoint, I understand from an artist perspective, if there's ever like a little flaw or a little something that doesn't sound quite right to you, you're going to hear it. But from a listener standpoint, I mean, it just I could have sworn that you guys have been especially the vocals, have been doing this for like a long time. So major props to you guys for that. And that definitely shows in the larger local space as well, because you guys have been nominated for some things like the Steamtown Awards, I believe.
Mhm.
And have you guys been getting, recognition from local stations? So what was the feeling like for either of you guys or both of you guys to hear your songs on the radio for the first time? What was that feeling like for you guys?
For me, I mean, it was definitely the first time I ever heard anything with my vocals on the radio. Um, Especially like growing up being a big 97.9 fan, listening to a lot of the music I enjoyed growing up. Hearing my like our song on there was a very special moment in my life.
Mhm.
And then, with Johnny Popco putting it on their stuff, it's just it's just nice. It's so rewarding.
It's not a bad feeling ever to hear yourself on the radio in any capacity, but like it is awesome to kind of like for us, this will be, however many song in my 20-year career that like we've had, but to see like JT's excitement and like see what it means to him, you're like, all right, cool. Like it gives you like a new vigor, because you're like, cool, this is someone experiencing this for the first time, and you're like, this is awesome.
Yeah. Yeah, that could definitely be inspiring. That's really, really cool. And you guys when you guys play live, you play a lot of shows I know at the V Spot, which you'll be playing on Saturday, the 26th.
Correct.
I believe, and I was wondering because you guys have played both as tribute acts in multiple different venues around the area and as variant season, primarily at the V Spot. Is there a specific location or venue that you guys would look forward to playing one day?
Um,
If
I
not, that's
mean,
totally cool. I knew that you guys were, you guys frequent a lot of places around the area, and I didn't know if there was a particular.
I've always enjoyed playing like the cultural center. Like I got to play there
Mm.
back in like 2011 or something like that. So like to play there again would be pretty amazing. I love the cultural center. The V spot is always amazing. Like Vinny's just an incredible guy. He's the owner. And he always treats every band and everybody, especially us, very well. Um, I like playing anywhere. Anywhere there's a good stage and a good sound system. Like I'm happy.
For sure. Yeah, and when you guys play live, I was also wondering because every band is different with the way their chemistry is and the way before show nerves are, depending on how long people have been in the industry for. Is there any pre-show either ritual or routine or something to just get show ready before you guys go on?
I usually like to mess with Mark a little bit to get him a little ticked off and get up there and do his thing. I don't. I just like to stay somewhere that's a little bit more quiet. I mean, with headlining, it is a little harder. I definitely want to support and be out there, but like I do, I still get nerves every time I go up, no matter what show it is. I always dealt with anxiety. Um, it's more just like I don't know, just calming myself a little bit. But once I get up there and I start, I'm a big dude, but I move around. So I mean, it doesn't take much for me to get, winded. So it's just, water and everything before I get up there. Little little vocal run, just simple warm-ups before I get up there. Nothing crazy.
I'm always nervous.
Mhm.
I've been nervous for 30 years, however long. But like I'm not I'm not nervous about the playing part.
Yeah.
I'm nervous about everything else. I'm
Hmm.
like, is the sound guy gonna
Yeah.
remember to turn the guitar on? Is he gonna remember the tracks? Is the laptop gonna die? Is Dan gonna remember the cue we have to, cut out the bridge of this song and go here?
Hmm.
Like I'm worried about everything else other than the playing. And like kind of like JT, I was just trying to like keep calm and stay out of it and like just hang around like my friends and the band and everything like that until like it's time. And then like first song in, I just forget about that crap.
Yeah. That's how I am too. It's never really about the play because these guys are simply like professionals and they put so much work into it that I'm never nervous about them. It's a little bit more about myself, where my vocals are, because in the beginning it could be a little, anxiety. But once I get comfortable, it's a good show, regardless of how I feel.
Yeah, for sure. And does the crowd response help with that too? Just seeing people watching you guys enjoying your music, whether they're, listening live or listening like regular people who come back to see you guys play, does that always help with calming the nerves?
It's a huge help. Yeah.
Hmm.
Hearing them makes everything just go away, fade away, I should say.
Oh, puns.
Oh,
Fun from new song, shameless plug. Listen to Fade by Variant Season. Fantastic track, by the way.
Thank you.
And as you guys continue to release music, I see the improvements in the vocals and in the production. You can really tell, like, from where you guys like start from now, even though it's been a relatively short period of time, like you guys have just gotten like just amped it up with with Fade, especially. It's just insane. So would you guys say that's your favorite track that you guys have written slash produced so far, or is there's something else that you guys would consider a favorite?
The new song we
yep.
just wrote, we just got the master back like 2 days ago. We just got the artwork for the single back like yesterday,
Mhm,
and it's the best thing I've ever been a part of ever. It just kind of encompasses us as a band.
Mhm.
Like the vocals are great, the lyrics are great, the song structure is great. I'm hoping like this is kind of like the new standard for like everything else going forward.
for sure. Yeah, yeah, you guys have really come a great way in a short amount of time. And for you guys who keep plugging music, like promoting like new things, great things coming soon. So for people who want to get into variant season and who are maybe just hearing of you guys for the first time, what can they expect in the future as you guys continue to promote and release new stuff?
Well, we're getting together tomorrow for our last rehearsal for our show on Saturday. So we're going to discuss the release date for our new song, Breathless, which should hopefully be out in a month or two, maybe
Ooh, I'm
less.
excited.
Yeah, so we got to figure out a release date for that. And then we have two new demo songs for Volume 2, and then Volume 2 is done. So we should have Volume 2 out, and we'll work on a release date for when that'll happen. So,
I'll be coming up for demos
yeah.
next week. Yeah, so we're
Hmm.
working on that too.
Yeah, it's been a long road. It's been a long road to get Volume 2 done.
Yeah. Would you say volume two has been a like a longer process than volume one, getting that out and per whether it's from a production or just marketing standpoint? Has that been a longer process for you guys?
Yeah, the writing is has been longer and not necessarily because it's been like harder to write. It's just there's been a lot more like care and a lot more
Mm,
like under the microscope. So
Mhm.
like with Fade, like Fade we wrote Fade knowing like it was a very simple musical song, and musically it was done pretty quickly, but like we spent so much time on the lyrics because we said like it's so musically simple, like
Yeah.
the lyrics have to be the best thing part of it.
mm,
So like we had melody, we had everything, but like JT and I went back and forth on like five, six, seven revisions of the lyrics to like make sure like every line was what it was supposed to be and had like the emotion and the story was connecting and everything. And that's kind of like how every song has been for Volume 2 is like, just everything's under the microscope of like, is this the best it possibly can be? And like, can we make it better?
yeah, definitely. It seems like there's a lot of great things coming for you guys for especially, volume two and the new songs that will hopefully be out soon enough. I'm really excited to see what you guys have in store, and I've been listening, in preparation for both this and when I first discovered you guys just through Instagram. Just really, really great stuff you guys got going on. So, is there anything else you guys want to say or promote before we wrap up?
Come see us Saturday, please. It'll be awesome.
Yeah, V Spot.
Yeah,
Both us and our cover band and issues and just was it no fight, no victory.
Victory. Yep.
Uh,
for sure.
Vinny, we got Vinny. Vinny is a
Yeah.
very beautiful man. I can't wait to see him again.
And
A lot of beautiful people.
this will be our first headlining show in like 2 years.
Whoa.
Would
So
this be
we
our, is this our first headliner at the V Spot? Is this our
yeah,
first headline? Yeah, V
yep.
Spot.
So this is the most amount of songs we've ever had to play.
Mm.
So the
No
set
pressure.
is no, none whatsoever.
No, singing Chester is so easy.
Yeah.
It's one of the easiest things I ever done.
Yeah, well, thank you guys so much for coming on. I'm so excited to see what you guys have in store. And go see Variant Season at the V Spot and all their upcoming shows. Whether that's with covers or with Variant Season.
Mhm.
Um, go see them play, put on a great show. Thank you guys so much for coming on. Um, and for being a part of this project that I'm starting up. So I really appreciate it.
It's
Thank
awesome.
you again for having us. You're
Thank
awesome.
you.
Great music, great guys. They were a pleasure to have on, and they were just you could tell so passionate about their future releases, their past releases, their history as a band. You could tell that they just really love what they do. So it was awesome talking with them about their future music endeavors and with their brand new song "Fade" that just came out. You can really tell that they are going in a really good direction with their music, sonically and production wise. And it's nice to hear that they have a more uplifting song, although, as you heard, it was maybe a little bit more challenging to write a song coming from a more uplifting place. So I believe this is best of time as any to show you the second song that would introduce you all to Variant Season if you haven't heard of them before. And this is called Fade.
I'm lost, and there's nothing left from me, and I feel defeated, and there's nothing left to say. I'm lost, I'm so lost, feel like I'm beating down. Help me survive here, keep me alive here. Seem to break through.
Such a great track. I'm so excited to hear what they are going to do in the future, production-wise and musically. I'm excited to see them evolve as a band and to hopefully catch them live. They are playing their first headlining gig at the V Spot, so definitely check them out. See them live if you can. So definitely go out and see them. Go support local artists, support local bands. I'm so glad you guys sat down with me to talk about this band Variant Season, and I hope you guys will catch them live. And I thank you for watching, and I thank once again guitarist Will Perna and JT Thomas. We need a name counter for how many times I've said their name in this episode. But thank you guys for coming on. Thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next episode of The Local Scene with DJ Brie.